It's really nice to drive around slowly, and I thought, oh, it's just gonna be...
Holy shit! Woo, yeah. Oh, there you go.
What on earth was that? Slowly, and I thought, oh, it's just gonna be...
Holy shit! Woo, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Hello and welcome to a perfect day here in the hills above Los Angeles, and welcome to an insane car, the Audi RS e-tron GT. This is the $160,000 Audi four-wheel drive crazy fast car built on the J1 chassis, same as Taycan. But I had a quick go in this car, never for video actually, I never posted it, in the RS e-tron GT in Italy on some rally roads, and I was just blown away with how interesting and its own character the Audi was when compared with Taycan. So what do you say we take two of my good friends, we have Tijmen over here and Jordan over there, for a rip up one of my favorite roads here in Los Angeles in the RS e-tron GT. I mentioned this car costs around $160,000, and I believe the sticker on this particular one, it's a 2022 with the year one edition, is about $158 or $159. It has the optional carbon ceramic huge brakes. It's got the red paintwork and the blacked out optics. It has a carbon fiber roof as well. Really a impressive machine. Now, driving this car around, we actually had a little media summit this past weekend where we invited a whole bunch of our fellow content creators to come and drive a whole bunch of cars. This was really the highlight of the show. And I have yet to actually drive it. I mean, like I mentioned, I drove a really nice green one. I don't believe we get that color in the US. In Italy a few weeks ago, but it was a very short drive, just a few minutes. And then, well, I said, we got to spend some more time with this thing. So now our event is done. The car is charged up to about 95% state of charge here at the bottom of Angeles Crest. And we're going to go for a rip. Just to walk you through some of the statistics on the car, it's an all-wheel drive setup. So it's essentially a Taycan underneath, J1 chassis. It makes, Nears makes no difference, 600 horsepower. It's insanely fast. It's insanely heavy. It's about 5,000 and a bit pounds. So we're going to put the rear spoiler up as well. Downforce, won't make a difference too much at the speeds we'll be going. It's a public road, not a track day. Inside, or range figures, I should mention, just battery pack capacity. This car is similar to Taycan where the EPA isn't insanely favorable to the vehicle. So in real world range, we're actually seeing well over 250, 260 miles of range predicted on this particular car because it does have the carbon roof. It has an Alcantara headliner instead of a glass roof. So real world range is far superior than the low to mid 200 range that the EPA gives this car. It has a 93.4 kilowatt hour battery pack installed capacity, about 83 kilowatt hour usable. The nice thing is you can actually set your daily charge limit between 50 and 100% very easily on this car, which you cannot do on Taycan. So for a car you want to keep for longevity, it's a lot easier to set this car to not full charge every day. Now, there's no wagon version of this car at this time, although I really think, fully leaned on the bike. Nice. I really think that a wagon version of this would do well. I hope we see that down the line. Something similar to the RS6 Avant that we know and love, but electric would be very cool from Audi. This particular one's rolling on Goodyear Eagle tires. I believe they're the F1s, but I don't know if it's an OE spec tire. Let's take a look. I believe it is. That's always important to know. And let's take a look what it says around the tire. Made in Germany. Very cool. And yeah, not seeing an OE badge on this anywhere. Yeah, not sure. Anyway, that's okay. This is pretty sick. Looks good. Enough talking about it. What do you guys say?
Let's send it, bud. Yeah.
Send it, bud. And Jordan says, let's rip. And by the way, look how gorgeous it is. It's unfortunately a little smoggy here, though. Can't get great views of the city off in the distance, but perhaps as the day goes on, the wind pulls some of this haze out of here. We could see a bit more. Either way, really quiet day up here in Angeles Forest with this gorgeous car. You join us now in the Audi RS e-tron GT. You have to say it in that order. Drive mode wise, dynamic,
But individual.
And the reason is the stupid sound emulator thing. What do you think of that? Turn it off.
Yeah.
So this is the only bad thing about this car right off the bat is you can't turn off the sound generation, at least that we can find. But in Taycan, you can even program a hotkey to do it. You can do it on the wheel or this. You have the option. And this, you can go individual, everything in sporty, drive, suspension, but then sound profile quiet. And there's no S mode, it's just drive, reverse neutral drive. There's 2 levels of traction control, not 3, which is pretty odd. So you have full on, and then no sport, it's just off. So there's ESC off. But we'll keep it on for now. If it gets in our way, we'll turn it off. It's a heavy car, it's a lot of car. A lot of horsepower. Do we know the exact power this car makes?
A lot.
A lot. 2-speed axle on the rear, so it's got the same, transmission as Taycan. And so rear steering on this one as well. And the limited slip mechanical rear diff. There's 1, 2, 3 levels of regen from full coasting to pretty much full coasting. Which means the car, similar to Taycan again, which the reason I keep mentioning Taycan is we've driven it so many times on this channel, so we're used to it, and I've driven many Taycans on this road. And the full regen off throttle is like just a little bit. Then when you hit the brake pedal, it will blend regen, and then it will, I should say, add regen, then blend friction brakes towards the end. So really good braking pedal. Let's just do a quick hard braking test. Everyone holding on.
Unfortunately.
And everything fell forward.
I held on.
It says Audi Presense. It's all freaking out. Great braking performance here with the carbon ceramics. You got to heat them up one way to get them to work, right?
Exactly.
There are some downsides to carbon ceramic brakes. They squeak when you drive them really hard, normally in daily driving, because they build up some pad material in there. Remember my M3?
Yeah, race car things.
Oh, it was the most awful thing to live with. I'm not saying this car does it. We're going to turn the lane assistance off. Then they also don't work when they're cold, and they really don't work when they're wet. But when they're warm and when you're driving the car hard, like you're supposed to in Audi RS vehicle, they're stellar. But just don't get them too hot, because then if you have to replace rotors, that would suck. What else should we preface this drive with, gentlemen? What are your impressions and sort of statistics that you want to share? Tijmen?
I haven't really spent that much time in this.
Right, you actually can't drive it.
Yeah.
But Jordan, you've driven it.
Yeah, that accelerator pedal both pedals felt weird to me.
Really? What didn't you not like about the accelerator pedal? You have to be loud back there.
It actually wasn't a dislike. It was just weird how the power hits really at the very end of the pedal.
It's a long throttle pedal, but that's good.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Me too. It really helps with this mid-corner modulation. The crazy thing about this car is I feel like we're driving 2 miles an hour just cruising, but then I look at the heads-up display speed and it shows a bigger number than I was expecting. And it's just masks the speed so much. The other thing with an electric car just in general is you don't have a reference of speed, because there's no combustion engine upshifting, downshifting, paddle shifting. You're just kind of in gear at full power available all the time. Now, we've never done a launch control on this car. I haven't. Did you launch it, Jordan?
Nope.
No. So I don't think it's been launched since we've had it. We did this. Can you explain the thing we did this weekend? The EV media thing?
Yeah, basically had a bunch of journalists and outlets and even some public and EV enthusiasts come out and experience a bunch of different cars. They got to be behind the wheel of a lot of them and compare them back to back, and it was a good experience for some who may not be big enough to get them directly from the manufacturer.
And everyone who got out of this car was just like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing.
Yep, everyone loved it.
Everyone loved it. And I guess I never really asked why, because I want to keep my opinions to be my own, but did you ever get a why from anyone? Why they love? Because it's obviously really fast, but it seemed like they were into it more than just the straight line speed.
Yeah, a lot of people did mention just how low it felt. Like you feel like you're surrounded by the car, not just sitting above a chassis. So that was the impressions people gave, along with speed, big old tires for big old grip. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, just a lot of G forces when you really drive this thing hard. One thing I noticed was, because I was letting cars in and out of the parking garage all weekend, when the Audi this car would come down, and they had it in dynamic mode with the noise on, but then the matrix lights, it has the laser lights on this one. It would come through the parking garage. It literally looked like a movie of this thing like going through the empty parking garage down the level. It was pretty interesting for sure. Was the Frontier going to pull over for us?
Most likely not.
Most likely not, but
They
hopefully.
got a SpaceX sticker on the back.
Really? Oh, so they're kind of cool then. Okay. Well, we have the passing zone up here anyway, so we'll see what we can do. In terms of design-wise, what do you rate this car? How would you break down the styling of the vehicle, Jordan?
It's absolutely stunning. The hips are big on front and back, and I don't. It just looks so good. It looks like it's so sculpted, but it's so big, but it doesn't really bother me. You can see a lot of Taycan influence, obviously sharing the same platform. The wheel design, I go very back and forth on. I love and hate it. And this red color.
I don't like the wheels.
Yeah.
They're very plasticky.
Yeah. There's some cheap like paint effects on them.
Yeah. What's up with that?
It's pretty common on a lot of EVs, I guess.
Okay.
Interior, I really like. I like some of it more than the Taycan, but I do miss the glass roof, especially being in the back seat back here.
Yeah, well, you can get the glass roof if you don't spec the carbon roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would
But
do.
you can't get a carbon roof on a Taycan, but you can on this,
Interesting.
which is quite interesting. So, yeah, ripping it up the hill here. We're just cruising. I'm not even driving it that hard. But even then, the numbers are just getting so big. But I don't... Does it feel like we're driving fast, Tijmen?
No, not at all, honestly.
Things are just going by.
Yeah.
It's a very capable car. Now, in terms of just overall power levels, I think I mentioned to you guys as well, it's not... a Turbo S would smoke this thing in a straight line.
Yeah.
Look, like here is where the Porsche is like, "Wah!" But then this is far superior than a 4S, where the regular e-tron GT, I drove Chris's car, it had ample power, but this isn't like scary fast. This is the right level of power, I think, actually. So if I was buying e-tron GT, this is the one I would get, because when you stay in it and you roll in it and you really want the power, it's got it, but I wouldn't want any less.
And it's got massaging seats.
Yeah, it's just so quiet, and the way that it goes into these corners, being so big and with the rear steering and having the suspension fully firmed up with these carbon ceramics too, it just hustles down a road, and I feel like we're just walking it through. But I would be very surprised if many cars could keep up, you know, with this pace, and they would be shredding tires and all over the place. It just feels so competent, you know. Overall, suspension's a lot softer than Taycan. Taycan's almost too stiff for this road. I find I have to back down the car a bit, and here I think it's fine. Steering though, I don't like the steering wheel. It's got this odd, all Audi RS cars have this odd straight line situation here. So I think that's all it's not necessarily negative, it's just all the preferences of this chassis where Porsche's optimized better. But there's other areas where Audi's optimized better, I think, and that's in terms of cost for performance. To get an equivalently spicy Taycan, you're spending a lot more than this car, like a lot more. And so, is it really a budget Taycan? No, it's still $160,000, but it's a totally different character that I actually think works better for most people. You stay there, Model Y. It's flexed out though, see that thing?
Off-road.
Off-road in the Model Y. I actually think that this car is the better choice. It certainly gets a lot more looks than Taycan. The people at the event almost preferred it more.
And a lot of people don't know what it is. Like,
Man, look at this thing freaking hammer down towards the corner. Standing on the brakes. Yep. And then look at the lateral grip you get out of it too. Coming in here, quick dab of brakes, turn in. Feels great, doesn't it? You could just dance this thing around this road. And we have traction control fully on. You just stay matted. Holy shit, the numbers are so big. We kind of have to just go slow because you would go way too fast for like general public acceptance if you drove this car. And this is like a car enthusiast road.
yeah, that was at least 40. That was nice.
Yeah, that was a good, maybe 42 miles an hour. Yeah, wow. So e-tron GT, I think, actually is the buy for a lot of people because it's a little softer, it's a little easier to live with every day. It certainly, I think, gets more looks, especially in this red color. No one has said this car is ugly. Yeah, and it's really crazy fast. The brake pedal feels awesome too with these ceramics. What is that in the road? A stick?
Yep.
Damn.
Almost a log.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see some other fast cars. It's dead up here today. Kind of want to see if we can rip with anyone. Oh, wow. Yeah, I wish we had G-force vision so people could see how insane this car just knifes up through here. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I feel actually pretty confident back here.
You feel confident?
I know that
You have full control of the vehicle from the back seat?
Yeah.
The tires underneath me are like 1 million inches wide. I feel fine.
Yeah, so that's an interesting tire selection to go with the Goodyears rather than, you know, Michelin PS4S's or, you know, on an RS car. I mean, you could really put some real spicy rubber on this car and go like with a Cup 2. You'd have no range, but it would grip really well. But here we are coming in through a little bit of a tighter section, and you can just lean on. The thing that I like about it is it makes a lot of power on the rear axle. So if you heard the front tire squealing, as I applied more throttle, that front tire wasn't really on much more load. It was transitioning the power to the rear and kind of getting us out of the corner very nicely, I think. Yeah, holy smokes. It's pretty video gamey almost because there's just no noise. The car's built so well, it's really quiet. You just come up to corners and you're like, okay, I don't think I need to brake. You just turn.
It's like playing Forza, just have the music all the way up.
Yeah, holy smokes. So this is quite impressive, but let's turn ESP off. Thank you very much, appreciate that. And this is kind of a rutted parking lot, so we don't want to like shred the tires off of it, but will it drift? What do you think?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes?
And I was right.
Yes, it will. So just a little, you know, just warming up the tires for safety, you know?
Right.
Man, it drifts so easy. You can do that all day.
Gotta make sure the tires still work.
Yeah, holy smokes. This is one mind-bending machine. And so, like, I would love to get between this and a Turbo S Taycan back to back on the same road, because you can just get up both cars so hard. Needs a little bit more front tire, in my opinion. The rear tires are huge. I don't know what they are, but massive. Oh, do you see this thing?
It just goes.
Well, I think that's a review of the Audi RS e-tron GT. It's definitely mind-bending performance, but I think with more daily comfort than the Taycan. Oh, you know what we forgot to do?
What?
Take a guess.
Launch.
Oh, that too. Massaging seats.
They work.
You have yours on?
No, I did earlier.
Oh, you did earlier? Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the stretch, wave massage on full intensity.
Nah, no.
All right, let's do a launch, shall we?
Let's send it, bud.
Okay, left foot hard on the brake, flooring it with the right. Doesn't show any launch control. Hold on, do we need to go dynamic mode perhaps? And ESP on. No one's behind us still, that's good. I don't think anyone's gonna be behind us for a while. Yeah, there's no launch thing. Oh wait, I get this little thing on the screen that's flashing.
110 horse.
Yeah. Salt second gear.
Now you can really hear that noise.
Yeah, well, that's because we're now in dynamic, but I don't like the fake noise situation. Individual, thank you. And shredding. Oh, crazy, 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 crazy machine. And it's just so easy. There's not really any feedback through the steering, but it's a heavy car, but oh my goodness. I hope we can blur out the speeds for the video, because there's a lot of 3 digits on the screen. Allegedly 3 kilometer digits.
Right.
Yeah, this is a German car. It doesn't read miles an hour. Wow.
Yeah, mind bending, body bending, this is all good.
Oh my goodness, you can hammer this thing. I wish it had a battery temp gauge. That's one thing I really think that Audi could do a better job of is, you know, this is an RS vehicle. It's an enthusiast car meant to be driven hard. Let's get some data in this thing. But there is no question that this has to be one of the best electric cars ever. And I think Audi did a great job taking the J1 platform from Porsche, adapting it with their own character, but keeping the fantastic braking system, the fantastic handling characteristics without beating you up as much. Tijmen, you've been fast in Taycan. This is so much softer.
Oh, 100%.
And it's so nice. You hit the bumps here and your head isn't hitting the ceiling.
Yeah,
Taycan's too
your
stiff.
Steering wheel doesn't fly out of your hand.
It's really, really like almost more grown up in many ways than Taycan is. But like, and you can still drift it. Look at this thing, just hear a tire squeal the whole way around. You're just keeping it on the edge. And I say you are, I am actually.
I am.
Backseat driver.
Wow. This thing freaking hammers. Is this even a review or is this just us having a good drive on a back road?
What's the difference?
I don't know. We said the price and the range. Oh, maybe we didn't even say the range.
I think you did price and not range.
Not range. I don't know what the EPA is off the top of my head. I think it's like 230, right? Something like that.
Something like that.
Doesn't matter. It's got plenty of range. And we didn't talk about charging. Jordan, would you like to explain the charging situation? The kilowatts it can charge?
I don't know.
Oh, 270 kilowatts.
Oh, so yeah, same as Taycan.
It's identical to Taycan, same charging curve. It charges from 0 to 50% in exactly 10 minutes and 47 seconds on a...
It's very road trippable.
Oh, well, it's one of the fastest road tripping cars in existence. Look at this. The manners on this car are amazing. I wish, honestly, it had a bit more tire up front. And then overall, I'm blown away.
Thing is sick.
Thing's sick. Actually, it gets better the faster you drive it because it's really nice to drive around slowly. And I thought, oh, it's just going to be...
Holy shit. Woo, yeah. Oh,
There you go.
What on earth was that? It's really nice to drive around slowly. And I thought, oh, it's just going to be...
Holy shit. Woo, yeah. Oh,
There you go.
What on earth was that?
I'm glad it came to a stop.
I thought
he was
in
going
there.
off. Did he stop, Jordan?
Yeah.
That's a runaway RV
I was
situation.
Like, that one's not.
What's funny is I actually didn't feel nervous.
I did.
You did?
Well, first you went right. I was like, you're going straight forward.
Well,
and then
I
you
actually
switched.
thought he was going wide around the corner.
me too, at
And so
first.
I was like, I'm going to go over there. And then he kept going. So good direction change in this car. Actually, let's try that really quick. Ready? Moose test.
Works.
Good at the moose test.
Yeah.
Full throttle. Yeah, it needs more power. So launch control gives you more power.
Yeah, what did it? Well, there's a bar that says 100%, and it looked like it was doing 110%.
Yeah, it looks like
for
it
a
went
launch.
into their boost functionality. That's the power that it needs all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my only issue with it. And Taycan's the same way, right? So it's when you get launch control in Taycan, you get more. I want the launch control power all the time. Always.
Full send.
Well, after almost dying into an RV.
Yeah, that was killer.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. And we're going to go enjoy a hard blast. The RS e-tron GT up here on some of the best driving roads in the world. Man, this thing hammers. What's our state of charge? We're almost down to half. Oh, we've really... That's full brakes.
We started with like 95%.
Yeah, we did. But, you know, that's the thing. We'll charge on the way down if we don't drive like this. But I do believe this car does maintain a little bit of regen through ABS, which is quite impressive still. All right. What do you guys want to do for the rest of the day? This? I could do this all day. Charge, rip, charge, rip.
Simple life.
Yeah, simple life. Just find a good road in this car. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're going to go through so much tires in this car though, because it's so heavy. Yeah, it's so much softer than Taycan, but kind of in all the good ways, you know?
Because if you hit a bump with a Taycan,
It hops.
Sport Plus, it just oof,
Yep.
other lane.
It's too stiff. That's on the track, this probably isn't as good.
Right.
But for this type of driving, which I think most people are, I don't think they're tracking these cars. I think they're coming up here. I've seen plenty of Taycans up here.
Right.
This is the special thing.